Hey, for this video, I decided to record my thoughts on the scenario of a church a small group that I've just joined. First things first, whenever I join a small group, I'm just doing this because I'm kind of familiar with how it is normally. But church small groups are usually, at least for new ones, a little awkward. You're meeting up in a family home. So, first step, if I would belong, I would probably say not exactly right away. Usually takes a few sessions, a few days of hanging out around people to actually get involved in the group and, you know, really understand the dynamic of the group in general. I think it's important to understand the endpoint of the group and what the point of the small group is, which most of the time it is, study the Bible and live life together. Try to focus on building each other up. So I think most of the time, people are scared to get vulnerable, and I think one of my strengths is I'm very easily, you know, open. I'm sharing constantly about my life, so I think my strengths could be utilized well in a group, especially a church small group, if I can just find a way to get over that barrier of being a little quiet for a few days, getting to know the group, and really just getting open and vulnerable with those around me, and allowing myself to really focus on the group itself, and hoping that I can help the group and help others and they can help me. And it's just a collaborative effort. I think there's going to be obviously some barriers and biases within churches and small groups in general. You usually have different cultures, different ages. I know on most churches around me, the age difference is usually, at least a few years. So, there's going to be some biases we have to get over, which initially comes to head, some things that I might deal with in my life, which is friends who party, drink, substance abuse stuff, starting to get work stuff, school related activities may be different than someone, say 5, 10 years older than me, who's dealing with kids and having issues with marriage and different things like that. So I think there's going to be some bias and some barriers that we would have to be able to push through in order to really effectively communicate as a group. I can see something that I would probably want to change right off the bat is, maybe talking about some of those different areas and barriers at first, and maybe just focusing on some common connections we could have as a meeting group. So something that first comes to mind is probably, Bible scripture, just Bible studies, and trying to focus on things and focus on things that we have in common, things that we share in faith, instead of focusing on the differences of the group that we have. And then we can hopefully allow that to grow to us getting more vulnerable and getting us used to those issues and differences in our lives and barriers and things that will come in the way of our goals and outcomes of the group. I think the feeling of being an outsider is definitely there, at least in the first, like I said, few days. But I feel like that's genuinely in your head for the most part. It's not actually, something that you really have to deal with. So I think that as long as I continue to show up in the group and be a part and try to learn from these people and follow what they were saying and just commit to them, I think that would create a culture of trust belonging to these new people, because you just have to see that you're committed to them and that they're committed to you. And if you have both of those things down, I think it could easily, mesh with almost anybody in the world, as long as we're being open, honest, and trusting of each other. And I think that's 100% true for a church small group, especially because we're just trying to live life and follow Jesus the best ability we can, and hopefully it works out. Those are my thoughts for this current scenario. Yeah, I think that's all I have.